Right, and I want to get your thoughts on Bitcoin here because we've seen a lot of volatility. At one point, it dropping some 50% from the highs that we saw in April. Is this just a moment to buy the dip, or is there something more skeptical, a warning perhaps going on here?
I've bought some of the dip. I think this is an interesting time for cryptocurrency. I think these instruments are here to stay. These currencies are here to stay. As businesses start to figure out how to build infrastructure on top of blockchain, that's where it really becomes interesting. I think NFTs are super interesting. I think that's starting to legitimize some of the blockchain math that's out there and why it makes sense. I think there are many more applications throughout finance. I think we're going to start seeing some decentralized types of platforms, whether it be social media or other types of marketplaces get built on the blockchain. And I think as these come out, it's going to strengthen these tokens. They have massive network effects today, and I think those only get stronger.
And sticking with that, you're executive chairman of Shutterstock, and they're looking into NFTs. Do you think they'll be incorporating that anytime soon?
Yeah, we're definitely at Shutterstock looking at NFTs. We also look at how blockchain can affect the market dynamics of how we buy and sell, how people buy and sell images, and how workflow is going to change. Ultimately, it comes down to trust, right? If there's a system in which there's a reason to not trust the marketplace or the mechanism, I think that's where blockchain starts to come in. So with NFTs, it's really interesting. You start to see some of the auction houses like Sotheby's and Christie's start to think differently about auctions. I think with social networks, you start to see social networks start to act differently also when there's some competition from blockchain type decentralized organizations that may have a more democratic approach to who gets to say what on the platforms. I think these are super interesting times for both crypto and for blockchain. But ultimately it comes down to trust, right? If there's some reason to distrust a platform, I think that's where blockchain starts to get really interesting.
Right, yeah, and I have to ask you about another phenomenon, and that, of course, is the rise of the retail trader. Meme stock galore, but sometimes they aren't always rising on fundamentals. So I'm interested to get your take on that and where people are putting their money.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a shift. Like we see people making their own investment decisions. We see people doing their own research. I mean, look, there is a disconnect, and I think there's some dangerous types of speculation and trading going on there, especially with some of these meme stocks, because ultimately the fundamentals will weigh in and the stock will trade on those fundamentals. That has to happen. That's the way the system works. That's the way it will continue to work. But that being said, you have a lot of people that want to say something clearly, and they're doing it with cash, and they're doing it with real cash, and they're putting down these types of trades that are making these stocks go a little wild. I think it's just a fundamental change in how people are investing, how people look at investing. While I do think it's dangerous to kind of trade these things on momentum, it's definitely a sign of kind of where things are going. I think people are making a lot more investment decisions on their own. I think retail investors are starting to think more broadly about how they invest and why they invest. But ultimately, these valuations will come back to normal.
Okay, so do you think with that disconnect, that danger you were talking about, do you think that there's going to be a crash coming?
I mean, look, these meme stocks, it works until the trade works until it doesn't. I think, look, like, they have an opportunity. They've been given these incredible market caps for this amount of time. You see some of them going out and selling equity because they believe their equity is expensive, and I think that's a smart thing for them to do. But how long will that last? And then the question is, what are they going to do with that cash? And if they're able to invest it quick enough, they may actually have some interesting turnarounds that could be done. But not all of them will get there. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not trading meme stocks. I'm still a fundamental investor. And that goes with the way I invest in startups as well.
Yeah, and then talking on that point, what kind of sectors are you liking at the moment within tech?
We at Pareto, we're really interested in startups that are looking at fintech. We're looking at healthcare tech. We're looking at education tech. And again, we're looking at the Web 3.0 stuff like the blockchain and crypto stuff I was talking about earlier. These kind of platforms that can disintermediate in places where there is a doubt of whether the community trusts the platform.